Good morning, and welcome to this morning's reflection. We begin this morning by reading from the book of Job, chapter 42 and verses 1 to 6. This was the answer Job gave to Yahweh. I know that you are all-powerful. What you conceive, you can perform. I am the man who observed your designs with my empty-headed words. I have been holding forth on matters I cannot understand, on marvels beyond me and my knowledge. Listen, I have more to say. Now it is my turn to ask questions and yours to inform me. I knew you then only by hearsay, but now, having seen with my own eyes, I retract all I have said, and in dust and ashes I repent. Job is Job, and God is God. It is in this awareness that Job at last surrenders, and it's there that he finds joy. These verses are the climax and the resolution of a long and tortuous faith struggle on the part of Job. Job was a very religious man. He was influential and he was successful. He had a loving family, he was a large property owner, and he had acquired a great deal of wealth. Now, Satan challenged God by discrediting Job's faith. Satan made a wager with God that if Job were deprived of the comfort of his family, deprived of his wealth and his influence, that his faith would crumble. And so God agreed to the testing of Job's faith. Gradually, Job was stripped of his family, stripped of his possessions, stripped of his health. Confused by his misfortunes, Job wrestles within, seeking initially to understand what God's reasons might be for allowing him to be afflicted with such pain and such suffering. The questions of, why me? What have I done to deserve this? Gave way to deeper questions that were, in reality, an attempt to grasp and comprehend the inner heart and mind of God. Where is the justice of God? Why do the innocent suffer while the wicked prosper? His personal struggle raised Job to a new level of consciousness. The enigma or paradox experienced within himself came to be recognized as part of a much larger question. In the midst of Job's confusion, God spoke. And in effect he said, Job, who do you think you are? Now, God's response was not one of self-defense, nor did it offer a facile solution to the paradox. Through the unanswerable question that God put to Job, he led him to the self-discovery of his own human limitations. God's questions point to the unfathomable wisdom and greatness revealed in creation. Overcome with wonder before the greatness of God, Job surrendered. His former knowledge, by hearsay, had been surpassed by his personal encounter with God. A astounded, Job easily let go of his previous inadequate images and assumptions of God. No longer was he reliant on his own strength and his own integrity. His fears were dissipated. Inspired with a new confidence, Job accepted his human limitations. Job acknowledged that before God's wisdom, his own wisdom was ignorance. Before God's power, his power was weakness. And before the justice of God, the justice of Job was unfairness. And in the light of God's love, his own loving was revealed in all its pettiness. Job accepted the world as it was in reality, and through that acceptance he received God as God. God is God. Job is Job. And so for a moment, be still. Just allow these questions to come into your mind as we meditate on God's wisdom and our need to have all the answers. Our constant need to compensate for our lack of wisdom by impressing others with our knowledge, our degrees, our many facts. We think for a moment of God's justice, and we see our own self-righteousness and blind oppression of others. Our hypocritical patterns of over-consuming while criticizing and judging the injustice of others. Consider God's power and our misuse and corruption of the authority and influence with which we have been entrusted. Our grasping to manipulate and control people and situations. Our hunger for prestige. And we consider God's love. And we see our own envy, suspicion, and lack of trust. We see that we give with strings attached. We see our harsh and petty words and actions. And so we go before Jesus, confiding to him the feelings and desires that arise within us, and whatever else we might be prompted to tell him.